There is a before and an after in my art after I started using heavy paint. It feels like painting in real life without the hassle of bringing all the materials and everything. It's just a great app. You've probably seen these kinds of paintings everywhere on Instagram or Twitter, and like you might have wondered like, oh my god, like
how do they achieve these like super sick color dynamics and like these textures and everything?
And that's heavy paint for you. I am a heavy paint fanatic. I love heavy paint. I've used it for like 2 years now and I'm obsessed. I recommend it to a lot of people, but then they tell me like,
oh my god, like I tried it out, but like it was so confusing to use and the UI was like so different and I didn't really understand, so I just quit.
So that's why this video is here.
Welcome to my heavy paint tutorial for beginners. Let's start. This is heavy paint. This is the newest version that has come out for the iPad. However, you can use heavy paint on the iPad. You can use it on your computer, everywhere really. This is the base interface for heavy paint. But I will say there's tons of different ways to customize heavy paint to your liking. This is just the way that I like to personalize it. So I'm just gonna show you how I put my UI to work the most efficiently, okay? This is the base UI. So as you can see, it's really simple. It's not as crowded as other drawing programs. You can find some layers over here. You can find your brushes over here. So I'll just show you what every single thing in this UI does. So over here, the first one, it's file. So in file, you can basically create a new canvas, as you can see. You can also resize the new canvas. You can either change it here with the numbers or you can do it manually. You can also save your image in your device. You can also import an image from your photo library. You can also save the project, import project. So everything that is like on normal files. You can also do time lapses, just like Procreate. Then there's gallery, and in gallery, you can basically see all of the drawings that you've made in the past. There is a paid option where you can like sync it with every heavy paint. So if you have heavy paint on your computer, you can sync it with your computer and everything's gonna be safe there. You can close things. If you see this little circle over here, you can close it here. After this little thing are the layers. You can also move them wherever you want really. And if you want to close it, you can just close it here. But here are the layers. I usually like keeping them to the side. If you want to transform anything, you can do this arrow button. You can transform, move it. Only thing you cannot really do is rotate at the moment, but it's not really a deal breaker. You can also move the UI here. Down over here, you can see that brushes, like I said before. I highly suggest playing with the brushes on heavy paint because they're all so cool. Every single brush has like a different way of like working. They're all very different from any brush that I've seen in any drawing program really. So you can see, so I would just play with the brushes before drawing anything. Then over here, you can select what kind of things your brush is gonna do. So if you want your brush to smudge, you can smudge. If you want your brush to erase, you can erase. And if you want it to blend, it can blend as well. So it just depends on you. I usually have them on draw. Down over here, there's settings for your brushes. So if you wanna change what the brush does, you can just change things over here. There's tons of different like options that you can do with your brushes. You can just play with it. Then over here, you can change the brush size. So you just slide your brush, and the size of the brush is gonna appear there is really big. This is smaller. This is basically how much color jitter you have. This is a really unique thing in heavy paint. The color jitter, really cool. And then here you can undo or redo, just sliding. But you can also redo like you do in Procreate. You just have to do some things. And then here are the color sliders. These are a little bit complicated to use, so I usually change them once I go into the program. So let me show you how I personalize my UI before we even start drawing, yeah? So to personalize your UI, you just go to these 3 lines over here, and then there's different things that you can do to your UI. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. I usually like it smaller. Then color mode, these are basically the sliders. So you can have it on RGB, you can have it at hue, saturation value, so on and so forth. You can also have a color box just like that. But I personally like having it to hue, saturation value. It helps me control the colors much better. After that, you can also change the sliders. I like changing my sliders. I like having them like this. It's more, I don't know, visual for me. After that, if you're a left-handed, you can change it to be left-handed. Negative saturation, you just basically just change the type of saturation. You can change that type of UI so you can make it spread, just like Procreate, or you can make it compact. I like it compact. I can like focus more on my drawing rather than the program. You can do thin sliders, you can do thicker ones. I prefer the thin sliders, so I just leave it like that. Tilt control, you can change how you want to like rotate your brush, things like that. I personally don't like having tilt control. Size display, you can just like have your full color over here. I like having that on as well. All of these options, basically full screen, is more for when you're on your computer and you want to put it full screen. You can reset your UI, so if you don't like anything over here, you can just reset it. Hotkeys, there's hotkeys for your computer. Even if you have like a little keyboard on your iPad, you can use it, but personally you don't really need it. Then tool shapes, this is if you basically, let's say if you're doing your fan shape, you can do it a rake. But like every single tool shape kind of does a different thing, like does different effects on the brushes. So yeah, I don't use this that much, but it's a cool thing that you can do. Swatches, you can also have all of the swatches that you've used, so you can save the colors that you've been using. I personally don't like using it, but it depends on you. Gestures, I usually have the long press eye drop on. That way I can just choose with my finger the colors that I want. And then account and log out, that's basically if you buy any version of Heavypaint, that's basically where you log in and everything. And yeah, that's like the basic UI, but every single option in Heavypaint has different ways of modifying them. So for example, if you want to modify a brush, you can go for, let's say this soft brush. It's very soft right now. I customized it so it's very soft. There's also more kind of like a noisy brush. There's tons of ways for you to customize like different brushes. You can just play around with like the different shapes over here. You can play with like how much it smudges and everything. I try to not play a lot with these options, but it's very fun to do like when you have a little bit of time. Also on your layers, there's different blend modes. So there's isolate mode. So basically if you draw something, let's say you draw a heart, you can just isolate this layer and only look at that layer. You can also hide it, just like any drawing program. You can merge it with the layer below, so it's only one layer. Heavypaint has limited layers, so that's good when you're like running out of layers. You can also lock alpha, just like other drawing programs, and just draw like a mask. You can also clip down, and you can duplicate the layer, things like that. You can change the blend mode, so there's tons of blend modes over here. There's multiply, there's screen, color dodge, like your normal drawing layer. You can also directly change the colors for the layers. So if you want to change the hue, you can change it over here. You can change the opacity as well, and the contrast. So you can change a lot of things, and then you can also delete the layer. BG is basically the color, like you feel everything. That's about it for the interface. It is a little bit of a more complicated program to get into, but once you get it, the interface makes a lot of sense. It's really simple and good if you just want to focus on studying. And also the brushes, since the brushes are so cool, they just make everything more interesting, like without even trying. So now we can start painting. I'm gonna do like a really simple painting. When I start painting in Heavypaint, I start with one color base. So I kind of paint as if I was like painting traditionally. So I usually just go for like orangey, kind of burnt sienna background, just to make like the base for everything. There's different ways that I sketch. I usually grab like the pencil brush and make it a little bit darker, do a new layer. I like splitting my screen on my iPad to have like one side my references and the other side Heavypaint. That's why the interface is so useful, because it's pretty small, so I can just have it over there and then boom, that's it. So I've got, let's do my toes. So this is my sketch, and we're gonna start working from here. You can also like paint like with the values, like this is like a darker value, and this is gonna be like your base for everything, you know. Then this one I kind of want to do a different approach. I kind of want to do like the background like first, maybe kind of very traditional. Lately I kind of have my phases with Heavypaint that I use different brushes. These days I'm using the oil soft brush a lot. Traditional method of painting in the background instead of using it as like a flat. I feel that the oil soft brush is kind of like the best one to achieve that like painterly look. I honestly, when I'm on Heavypaint, I don't stress too much about having perfect perspective, perfect anything, because Heavypaint is where like I can de-stress, you know. It's like the place where I can just be free and messy in painting. It's like painting IRL basically, but without the messiness of painting, you know. Or we can use the fan brush. I use this fan brush a lot, honestly. I love the effect it gives. That, and then we can do the egg. using this egg as a reference. We can do another layer for the egg. And the color dynamics on heavy paint is like unlike as anything I've ever seen, honestly. Do the crispy edges on the egg, some burnt ones. Let's do the yolk. Getting used to the sliders is a little bit hard, but once you get it, like the way you understand color changes basically. So it's a really nice perk because you have to think more on like what makes a color, you know, like the hue, the saturation, the value. It helps you control the value way more. I'm gonna move it maybe here. Okay, make it a little bigger. And we can also use the fan fade. So this is the one that I use as an airbrush. This effect, I got it here, so the first kind of like airbrushy texture over here, that's what makes it soft. But if you want a more like a dissolve kind of effect, you can choose the second one over here, so it makes it like more grainy. And then to blur, I use the oil flat wet a little, maybe with less color dynamics. And I like having a lot of color dynamics. It's what makes heavy paint heavy paint. And then let's say you want to add some opacity, so you could do another layer and then something transparent, kind of like this, and lower the opacity like this. And let's say you want to add some shadows. It's kind of like in any other drawing program here, and then you select blend mode, multiply. You can lower the opacity a little. You can make the shadows. And then we'll add some highlights over here to the egg. You can add some more highlights. You can put it on screen, maybe color dodge. Then I'll also do the guac. I think I'm gonna merge the whole egg together, so I'm gonna merge down. The only problem with merging down is that the kind of like the blend modes kind of lose their effect. So I'm not gonna merge it. That's the problem sometimes, like you cannot move everything as a group. Heavy paint is still in development, like every single day. If there's anything you need to like ask for like the creator, you can ask on the Discord. Then I'm gonna do some sprinkles, like the pepper flakes. Let me see if I can find maybe. You can even find more tools over here. This app also crashes every now and then, so you can just close it up and open it back again. It's just heavy paint. It's a matter of playing and seeing what you like, what works for you, what doesn't. There's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of having fun, experimenting. And then yeah, like you see, there's like a max layer of, there's a couple max layers. So this is like my max amount of layers, which is fine. Honestly, I like the limitation. And yeah, so like once you're done, you can always like kind of edit the layers. You can change the hue if you want. I don't really want to. You can change the contrast. When you're finished and you wanna save the image, you can just do save image and then save over here. You could export the project, you could save the project, import, there's auto saves, you can also export the time lapse. But yeah, that's basically my heavy paint tutorial. I hope that you guys learned a thing or two about heavy paint, and now you guys are able to paint some really cool stuff. I'm excited to see what you guys do with this tutorial. Let me know. And also thank you Heavy Poly for creating this vlog, and you're amazing.
Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I took a break for the last month or so after the holidays, but I didn't forget about YouTube. Trust me, I've seen so many nice comments on my videos, and I always thank you guys, but no, thank you so much. I have more tutorials on my channel, so feel free to look those up. I have some prop painting tutorials, a lot of background painting tutorials as well. If you guys want the video on anything specific, I would be very happy to make it for you guys. And yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one, okay? Bye bye, guys.